Welcome to Platform 2024 and our session Unveiling the Journey, a customer's perspective on implementing scale computing with Colby Windows and Doors. I'm Chris Schultz, Director of Product Marketing with Scale Computing, and with me today is Luis Apodaca, a Scale Computing Technical Services Engineer, and John Stuplick, System Administrator for Colby Windows and Doors. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
So thank you for joining us for a discussion with John today about his responsibilities and his IT environment. Located in the heart of Wisconsin, Colby is a national recognized leader in the premium window and door industry, selling its broad range of product offerings through hundreds of distributors and dealers across the United States, Canada, and even beyond. What began in 1946 as a two-brother team has grown into an internationally respected manufacturing company of nearly 2,000 employees. Colby is one of the nation's leading manufacturers of windows and doors for residential and commercial markets, and the company prides itself on providing solutions to homeowners, builders, architects, and designers. And as a leader with innovative products and extensive capabilities, they have an exciting and descriptive tagline, "We're for the visionaries." So John, can you tell me a little bit about your roles and responsibilities at Colby?
Yeah, I am the systems administrator, so I kind of manage all of the network connected devices, PCs, mobile devices, all the way up through the networking equipment and the servers. I also work alongside the help desk, so I do take help desk tickets and stuff in there as well. Due to our relatively small IT team, I'm kind of got my hands in everything IT related. So,
Luis, how were you involved with Colby?
Yes, I had the pleasure to get involved with Colby and Colby through a service for an on-site installation. So we just start planning all our activities together with John, and we took it from there until we met in Wisconsin.
Very cool. So during the session, please feel free to jump in and give your impressions as John walks us through his environment and his experiences with us. So John, what are some of the relevant IT challenges faced by your particular industry?
with our industry and our business in particular, we have several locations, a lot of shop floor employees that don't use computers on a day-to-day business, but still need to interact with them. So there's a lot of challenge there. And the remote locations, we don't have on-site tech support everywhere. So we have a location in Phoenix, for example. It's a challenge to make sure everything's always working down there without being able to go down and touch and see it.
And how many members do you have on the IT team?
The IT team in total, including our developers, is around 27. The infrastructure team that handles all of the on-the-ground IT stuff is 5 people.
And do you work with any partners to help manage and advise on this particular implementation?
Yeah, we work with a company called Solaris out of Wisconsin Rapids. They are our managed network service provider. So I am in working with the switches, doing things like that, but they kind of take care of the overall picture of our wired and wireless network. And they're working right now on our manual location, doing a refresh there on equipment, and we'll eventually be getting them to our 2 Wausau remote locations to get that updated as well.
So Luis, as part of your experience supporting the implementation on site, how many members of that larger IT team did you work with?
I remember working meeting about 4 people plus the partner during my visit to Wisconsin. Yeah.
So John, how many locations exactly do you have for Colby?
Yeah, so our manufacturing locations, we have 3. Wausau actually has 3 locations in Wausau. So we have our main plant and then 2 satellite plants that are right nearby. We also have a location in Manawa, Wisconsin, and in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay. And what business challenges were you facing specifically that you were trying to overcome when you started talking to Scale Computing?
Yeah, one of the big things is the actual footprint of what we had with VMware. The fact that like storage with VMware is detached. So we had our ESX hosts, and then we had our storage 3-part system. We've had some issues with that in the past, so it was nice to get everything consolidated with a scale solution. It's kind of one of the big ones, and just the ease of use. VMware is very comprehensive, but it's really easy to get kind of lost in all the pages and everything that they have going on there.
So was it a difficult decision to leave VMware?
Yes and no. Yes, just because my manager was familiar with VMware. He's worked with it for a lot of years. I'm relatively new to the company, so I didn't have a lot of investment in VMware yet. So as we were looking at this, the change, streamlining the hardware, streamlining the interface, just seemed like a no-brainer to me, and obviously cost difference as well.
So what other factors were important for you?
One of the big things too is the way like DR, disaster recovery, or extra nodes can be implemented. Because we are thinking about implementing a DR site with another scale cluster in our Minnesota office at some point. Don't have anything set in stone just yet. So having an easy solution for something like that was a big selling point for sure.
And why did you decide to engage with Scale Computing Services and our friend Luis?
Yeah, start off, my manager had found you guys. He said it looked interesting. Him and I got in a meeting and went through the spiel. And we joked that it was, it was flash and wow, but it wasn't just smoke and mirrors. It was the real thing. Like now that we have it, yeah, it was the real thing. So we were really impressed with it. We thought it was cool. We pulled our VP into another meeting, had him kind of go through the spiel as well. And he said, it's a lot of flash and wow, but it's not smoke and mirrors, right? It sounds really good. So after we talked about it, we got a quote to replace our current VMware environment. We weren't happy with that quote we got. The quote we got from Scale was very enticing. And we said, yeah, let's do it. Let's give it a shot.
So we think Luis is great, obviously, but what was that experience like from a customer perspective? Did you enjoy working with the team?
Yeah, Lewis was great. When he came out, we just got to work. It was great. Good guy to work with. Very knowledgeable, obviously, on the platform and everything. He worked great with our third-party vendor Solaris, getting everything set up on the network side, and it went really smooth, I thought. So very good job by Luis.
So Luis, when
Thank
you
you.
were there, did you have a chance to view the showroom or the manufacturing facility?
Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to look at the showroom, but the entire facility looks pretty cool. I know, they do doors and windows, so they were showcasing the entire facility with doors and windows. So that was kind of my first impression of that. As well, all the when I entered their main lobby, it smelled like woodwork, and wood. So that was kind of interesting, and also the woodwork inside the offices. That was pretty impressive.
Kind of a cool backdrop for us to support. John, how many virtual machines are you currently running on Scale Computing Platform?
Currently we're running 21 total machines. 16 are actually powered up. We have a couple legacy systems that we kind of keep in cold storage in case we need data off of them. That leaves roughly 16 to 20 in our VM environment right now that we still have to move over.
Then are there things that you prefer on Scale Computing Platform when compared to your VMware system?
Yeah, like I said, the simplicity is just fantastic. Like, yeah, there's a lot of buttons and bells and whistles you can click around in VMware, but you don't use those on a regular basis. And sometimes just the instant shock between VMware's interface and Scale's interface, I feel like I might be handcuffed. Like there's not enough options there, but when I start working with it and working through the menus, there's a lot there. So, and one of the really cool things that I really like that's in the Scale interface is the click to chat. So you can just click, get on chat with tech support, and they'll take care of you. It's fantastic.
So what types of applications are you currently running? And are there applications that you are running that are specific to windows and doors or the manufacturing industry?
Yeah, so we're primarily a Microsoft shop, so we do a lot of those applications. But as far as the Windows, doors, quoting, all that goes, we have a piece of software called Raina Pro through Rainier that paired with another program called EluCAD lets our salespeople quote out our aluminum product, and then they can send those quotes directly to our CNC devices to cut those products. So that's an interesting one with the security keys and stuff they use there. We also use a solution from WTS Paradigm, ProCode and MasterPoint. ProCode is our quoting software for all of our other windows. And then MasterPoint is the software that the shop floor and everyone else uses to track production process, inventories, things like that.
So it sounds like uptime and availability for these always on is critical. What would happen if just one of these applications were not available?
Yeah, so like a big one would be master point, right? So if master point goes down, the shop floor workers, they can't get statuses of things, they can't get what their next cut's going to be for a part, all that kind of stuff. They can kind of put it together in the meantime if it's a short downtime. But if we get into a couple hours, it starts becoming problematic because people become unsure of what the next step is for what they're supposed to be doing. Our tracking for parts goes through there. So if a window is in the paint shop, it's noted in master point. So if we don't have that available and they go, okay, where's window X? Nobody might not know unless someone physically has seen it and knows where it is.
Have you experienced downtime like that before? Or if you have, what was that like?
Yeah, so far I've been pretty lucky since I got here. We haven't experienced any major downtime. We've had a couple blips here and there. And like I said, the shop floor employees, they can continue working for a certain period of time on the sets of instructions they have at the time. But yeah, if things are out for longer than maybe 4 or 5 hours, it starts to devolve into chaos pretty quick.
So do you use the replication in scale computing hypercore?
Right now we are not, but it's something I'm going to be looking into for sure.
Perfect. So what is your current backup and resilience strategy for your infrastructure?
Yeah, so currently we're using a Cronus, their cloud-based solution. So everything gets backed up to the cloud. We can restore right from the cloud. We actually have it running in both locations right now. So our VMware is getting backed up by it in our scale environment. And like I said before, that makes it easy that I can actually restore from the cloud directly into scale using a Cronus.
You had mentioned adding a DR cluster. What's your current DR plan like?
Um, Current DR plan is hoping everything restores easily from a Cronus. Unfortunately, we don't have a DR site or anything like that. The closest we have is we have some data across the street from our main facility and a secondary facility. So that's there on site, but the vast majority of our stuff is through Cronus and cloud.
I know it's relatively early in your journey with scale computing, but do you have any improvement numbers or impressions that you can share with us? Have you and your team been able to save time? Is it easier to implement? Anything like that?
Yeah, no real hard numbers or anything, but I have noticed that some of the VMs that we've been over, things are just snappier and seem to move along a lot better. That being said, our ESX clients, our ESX hosts right now are in range of 10 years old, so they're not the newest things in the world. But things like that, and for example, the cloning and the replication inside of Scale, like we haven't used it as anything important. But while we've been moving things around, I have done some things like, okay, well, I want to mess with this on this server. So I'm just going to quick take a snapshot of it and replicate it. So I have a backup in case it blows up, right? So that's been really nice.
So Luis, was there anything about this implementation that stood out for you?
Yeah, so first of all, Colby is clearly growing and is a successful organization as well. Everybody I met was pretty friendly and smart. Uh, all the people that I work with, they were asking questions and they seem pretty engaged on their learning experience and the system and maximization all the value as much as they can. So it was a really good experience, like hanging out with them for that day.
So Luis and John, I know the audience has appreciated everything you've shared with us. And just like in every implementation, there must have been some bumps along the way. Can you share some lessons learned?
Yeah, for sure. Overall, it's been a really smooth process. A lot of the migrations have gone really well. But like I said before, we have had a couple hiccups, and the big thing is kind of that don't rely on one of the migration solutions to do everything for you. Our Carbonite for a server we have called Zebra Monitor that monitors our label printers, for example. Everything looked like it transferred great, but we went to fire it up, and the actual Zebra Monitor software, the web interface for it, just wouldn't start. So we had to back up, go to Clonezilla, moved it over that way. Everything went great from there. So kind of a learning experience there, just kind of knowing that you can't expect everything to work out of the box the first time. There might be some little adjustments you have to make, but nothing major by any means.
And there are guys like Luis to help you along the way.
Definitely. Yep, I've contacted Luis a couple times over email and he's been very responsive. So
Any advice you would like to share with people considering moving to scale computing?
the big one that I kind of wish that we had explored a little bit more was paying for Scale's migration service, just have you guys move everything for us. Like I said, it hasn't been a big deal to do. It's just been time consuming a little bit here and there. And we've had other projects pop up. So I'm not where I would like to be yet with it, but that's not a scale issue. That's more of a, we're really lean staffed issue.
Wonderful. So thank you guys, John, Luis, for sharing your stories, and to our audience for joining us today.